My name is Raymond Delaney. I'm an executive manager with Whatalife Music Collective. Um, I go by the industry name of Reese, like peanut butter cups. And I have been in the music industry for 8 years now. And it's kind of crazy how I got into this business because if you look at my background, I've probably done all and everything in criminal justice, from a sheriff deputy to running a federal halfway house, to working in the community with a nonprofit by the name of Louisiana Council of Resources, where we work with justice-involved persons with special needs. So when they come from prison to the community, we help them transition with housing, supportive services, and anything from legal to how to write a resume to how to get a job. So managing people and being around people, helping them access resources is nothing new to me. Timing is important.
Mhm.
You do need a team and you do need a manager at some point.
Yeah.
I would recommend, and I do this, I recommend, based on where someone is in the artistry, seeking consultation first.
Okay.
It's a little bit cheaper. Even a mentor, you probably can't even do a mentor. It's a little bit cheaper, and it also give you a chance to learn the business or learn a person first before you go into this contract where you have to meet these stipulations. And if you're not meeting it, or you might find that that person is not really somebody that I'm cool with, managerial wise, it can be a heartache and a waste of time and money. Time is
Yeah.
money, right? So I
Mhm.
always tell people, first, seek consultation.
Yeah.
Know what it is you need. Like, you got to study. If you're seeking a consultant, what is it that they're going to actually work on with you? Is it going to be the marketing? Is it pre-post production? Is it putting a campaign together? I mean, it just depends. It's so many things. But I
Yeah.
think consultation first. And then from that point, you may can ask that person, or either seek someone who is a little bit next level, like, okay, I'm actually ready to put my artistry on the market. Um, Professional development. And so it takes willpower to acquiesce to us and saying, you sit on a bench right now, and you're going to learn, you're going to watch film, you're going to study. Like, my artists study. They do documentaries, they read anything that they feel they want to learn about. I don't care, long as you bring something of the industry that you've learned. We have a group called the Swave. They are dual, kind of like the Kid and Play model back in the day. They came up to me. Lil D Money was like 15 years old at the time. He's now 19. And he kept bothering me. And I'm like, who is this little kid coming around me at events? I'm working backstage. I was working a festival. And I'm like, I'm working. And this guy was like, please give me a chance. I know it. And I'm like, man, let me see if he buys. So I said, first of all, I need to meet your mom, because anybody of, younger, you have to make sure that the parent is involved. And so I met the parent. Come to find out, I knew his father. I mean, it just was real crazy. And so I started to work with them, but teach them a little bit of artist development. And I started with networking, because that was something that he tried to do. And he really did good, y'all. He really did good, but he was a little bit of kind of pesky like at the time. And so I wanted to teach him more of the acumen of being, a little bit more reserved, and timing and your approach. And so most of the managers that I actually work with is what we call momagers.
Mhm.
And that's the people who are kind of like managers, but they actually are mamas. And girlfriends too. Girlfriends are a little bit more difficult, but they help because people need a support system. And sometimes working with parents, you learn some things that you didn't know, and it makes sense of why they act. Because a lot of times, to manage people, you have to have something to manage,
Yeah.
and that's their product. or, their brand. And many times, because we deal with emergent artists, that is developed from ground up. And with that, you learn personalities, you learn pretty much how people's mess smell, right? Um, you learn some ups and downs and attitudes, and oh, we're not going to deal with that. We don't have time for that. So it's tough. So I try to share information when people ask, because sometimes people can learn just by monitoring. And actually, like Jack Faze, y'all know Jack Faze. Jack Faze sat on a bench 2 years. Yep. He waited his turn. And now you see he has over 115 streams views online. He has record sales that are doing extremely well in the UK. He is getting booked, but it works. And if somebody is serious, they understand. Sometimes you have to wait your turn. We don't take unsolicited requests, but
Okay.
it's a process and it is very lengthy. Two things I actually learned in working as a federal contractor, working with the federal government. I had a chance to work with like ATF, FBI, DEA on different initiatives because we still had to do public safety. And I learned two things. They were very patient and they were very strategic. And so I just picked those skill sets up and placed them into the managerial responsibility. And so when I'm scouting for talent, it literally takes me 6 months to almost a year. In the 6 month to 12-month process, I'm more so focusing on work ethic. So I'm looking at your timeline. I'm looking at it's kind of like reviewing your resume, but on social media. I'm looking at your numbers if they're organic, because in our model, we know how the numbers look, the optic eyes, but you can have 10,000 followers and we know only what 10% is going to probably support. But can you at least have a core base, a core fan base? I would rather someone bring out at a concert 75 people than to see 250 streams online, because it's way more money at the if you understand how streams work, it's way more money from ticket sales than streams. And so I look at their numbers, I look at their personality, because that matters. And it doesn't necessarily mean if our personalities clashes or it's a difference of opinion. Sometimes that's okay. It's okay to be different, because they may bring something to the collective, which we are, that other artists may not bring. So as I'm scouting and looking at their work ethic, looking at their their resume online, paying attention to how they carry themselves, I'm also looking for something that makes them a little bit more unique, because there's thousands of artists. What else are you doing besides getting on the internet and singing? Are you into philanthropic work? Are you doing things outside of the industry that makes you a little bit more unique? And then I go into the interview phase. So they don't even know I'm watching them. They don't know. And it's kind of stalkerish, but it's for a purpose. And so once I make my move and reach out to them, I have my facts in order, because when we're bringing something of value to the table, they have to bring something as well, because it has to be a meeting space, right? And so that's pretty much the preliminary process that you go through. And learning curves, right? What we've learned in that process, one of our weaknesses at Whatalife Music Collective was that we didn't really do a good job on assessing the character of the artist, because that matters. You can have great work ethic. Personalities is like colognes and fragrances. They change up. But your character, it doesn't really change. Who you are is who you are, and it will prevail. And so even though this is like my second set of artists, some people are going to be falling off, because that's unfortunately all good things come to an end. But when we look for the next set, we're going to focus more so on their character as well, because that is something that we weren't as strong. in, because as Eric know, when I send my artists, they're not just representing Whatalife Music Collective and their brand, they're representing FanFlex as well. And
Yeah.
we have partnerships with Walmart. Like, we just got different partnerships, and so the representation matters, and how you carry yourself, it affects the whole, not just the half.
Yeah. And what
Well, attitude makes a big difference. Their response, how well they get along with team, because we prepare as if they're stars. As you know, several of our young artists have been a part of the Live Nation Music Forward Bringing Down the House program. And because of their attitude and behavior, and being able to collaborate and work as a team, that lets you know if you can work in a small team like this, and we'll throw you out there in a showcase or something small first, and then it'll determine your readiness. So it's just certain measures that we take, and a lot of it is based on the artist's professionalism, if you will,
Yeah.
whether they're young or older. It has to be managed,
Okay.
and you can't do too much, because you do want to show growth, and you do want to show relevance, and you want to stay connected to your fans, and they want to see you active. However, you have to be very selective and conscious and intentional what you put out there and how much. That's a good question. Um, I don't know if I was on the internet, and I think I was on the internet probably, and I decided to reach out. My God, what? I hate bookings. I hate booking and scouting for venues. So it's like it's like a burden lifted, because all you really do is get the call and be like, "Hey, Ray, I think I got some gigs for you. I'm just giving you an example of the past. We got October 5th, we got October 10th coming up. What can you do?" Like, it's really more so of a thank God, because securing I mean, as you all know, before you can put on a show, securing the venue is the most critical thing. And it can be
Yeah.
difficult because you got different types of people. So we're grateful because FanFlex was able to provide the space and the bookings for us. And then also you kind of like I think we make like almost all our money. So what you put in is what you get out of it. It actually also helps us on the business side, because what we use with our analytics and our ticket sales, we use that to show growth, or to show, this is why we need your sponsorship, because with your sponsorship, it can help us get to the next level. You have to build relationships. You have to build partnerships. Geographics matter, where the venue is located, what type of clientele is frequently there, um, because that's key as well. And honestly, it's hard, it's tough, it's a tough job. Once you get the establishment and the relationship, it's a little bit more easier. You just have to hope and pray that who you send don't mess it up.
Yeah.
But it's tough. I mean, it's like I said, it's a helping hand, because that's one less thing. I love seeing that phone call. I already know that business is about to happen.